What are the most influential albums on Gen Z artists and Gen Z's music taste overall? Over the next couple of weeks, I'll be counting down, in my opinion, what the top 15 are, from 15 being the least influential to number 1 being the most influential, and today is day number 1 if you want to tune into my series. If you're wondering what my framework was for picking these albums, and if I have any honorable mentions, or if there are any artists who will not be named for specific reasons, you can check the caption of this video where I have a video I already made linked that explains all of that. Now with that being said, let's get on to the list. Starting at number 15, we have Vampire Weekend's debut album, self-titled Vampire Weekend. Now, I will admit this album does not stand up against most of the other albums on this list commercially. It debuted and peaked at number 17 on the Billboard 200, but it's not about the commercial success, it's about the cultural impact. I would argue that a lot of older Gen Z have encountered this album whether they know it or not. This album was a bit inescapable from the late 2000s through the early 2010s, especially on Tumblr. The real impact of this record was that it blended irony with sincerity while also blending indie rock with aspects of Afropop and chamber pop, which made it a real standout project among other indie records at the time. This album also showed that indie is something adjacent to pop, not necessarily opposed to it, and in my opinion, this album went on to kind of be the blueprint for what we know as modern indie pop. For instance, I don't think artists today like Clairo, Arlo Parks, Beabadoobee, or Rex Orange County would exist as we know them without this album's existence. That is why this album had to make this list, and I put it at 15 because, like I said in the beginning, it is not as big as some of the other albums on this list, but it felt like it had to be there. It's the only real indie record on the list, and indie is such a big influence on Gen Z that I had to include an indie album, and if it's my pick, which it is, I'm gonna include Vampire Weekend. Like I said, this series will be running for a couple weeks, so I hope to see you soon for number 14.